of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
One small step for man.
12.
One
That's
giant
it.
leap for man.
12 people. A few days of shuffling and shambling across gray, airless hills. A few hundred kilos of rock and dust returned to Earth. Then, the adventure ended. And yet the moon is right there, right now. It's so close. It's like a familiar village watched every day on the other side of a bottomless canyon. We see it, we sense it. It fills us with questions. And yet it eludes us. It's time to return. This is the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, LRO for short. In 2009, LRO will throw a rope across the canyon and climb back to the moon. A new adventure begins. Entering orbit, the probe will map the moon's surface in unprecedented detail. For years, humanity has had better elevation maps of Mars than our own moon. LRO will change that. This is an elevation map of the moon based on measurements from earlier missions. The LOLA instrument will use a laser to collect precise elevation data for a new map. It will also examine the dark shadows of polar craters to check for ice. Other instruments like Diviner and LAMP will also search for signs of ice. In all, LRO contains 6 instruments, a complete package of research tools designed to help us figure out what it would take for an extended return visit, or even a permanent settlement. But LRO can't reach out and touch the moon. It can't dig under the surface like astronauts did years ago. So check this out. A companion vehicle sent on a collision course with the moon, designed for one brief, shining moment of scientific inquiry. That's L-Cross, and here's how it works. By carefully shepherding flight paths and orbital trajectories, the L-Cross team will turn the spent upper stage of the launch rocket into a high-energy lunar impactor. The empty shell will be sent on a collision course with the moon, aimed to send up a plume of lunar dust and debris, and maybe even water ice. Instruments on the L-Cross probe and telescopes back on Earth, trained on the expected crash site cloud, will gather valuable data about what hides beneath the lunar surface. Then, like a captain refusing to give up the ship, the L-Cross probe itself will plunge to its doom. But before crashing into the surface, it will fly through the ejected plumes sent up by the vehicle that preceded it, allowing one chance to actually sample and examine the excavation's product. LRO and L-Cross were both designed to look for lunar sources of water. Water means astronauts won't have to carry heavy stores with them, either to drink or to convert into rocket fuel. But these missions also reignite exploration about something we feel collectively we ought to know better. It's always there, always a part of our days, tied to our lives throughout the history of humanity. So near, so far, the moon is our poetic muse and the intractable promise of lands over the horizon. Now the adventure continues.